Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Today a new video about Final Fantasy XIV and the story about the Vieras. We don't have much lore on the game, but we still have some good piece of lore. I will also speak about the future of Vieras in the coming expansion at the end of the video. Also, every sources I used for this video are in the description, so if you want to be sure about what I'm saying, I will also use what is said by an NPC in the game, so I will show you where he is. Of tall stature and slender frame, the Viera's physical appearance is strikingly similar to that of the Qyorria and Lethe, save for their distinctive long hairs. Adhering to a strict code known as the Green World, they are prohibited from contact with the outside world, under threat of exile. Their society is purely matriarchal, and males of age are seldom, if ever, found within the bounds of any village. They instead serve as protectors of the wood from the shadows, that no evil may ever encroach on their sacred lands. Viera's Dalmatian tribe divided into two groups, the light-skinned Veena and the dark-skinned Rava, while Viera means people of the forest in the Dalmatian language. Viera of the Rava Clan live primarily in the Gulmore jungle, their amber skin allowing them to readily blend with their surroundings. Though the males stand as wards of the forest, the females are adept hunters in their own right, fiercely guarding their home and their young. Despite attempts by the Dalmatians to subjugate them, they have ever maintained a self-governing dominion. Though most would adhere to the traditions of the wood, some few have chosen to venture out into the world. With skin as fair as a snow-capped mountain towering above, the Veena Clan make their homes in the forest lining the southwestern foothills of the Scatay Range. Like the members of their sister clan, the Veena live as hunters and gatherers, laboring not only to protect the woods, but to nurture them. As the winds of war swept up the number of those who left their mountain homes, many such ardent hunters choose to set out for the distant shores of Qyorria. When you ask the wandering Dramaturge in the Prima Vista, here is what he says about the culture of the Vieras. Ah, yes. I have learned much of the laboring folk during my travels, so let us start off with the most basic of details. There exist two distinct clans, the light-skinned Veena Viera and the darker-skinned Rava Viera. The word Viera itself means people of the wood, and true to that name, both the Rava and the Veena make their homes exclusively in the Gulmore jungle or the primeval forest which line the southwestern foothills of the Scatay Range respectively. Until recently, perhaps the past several generations, a Viera living outside her homeland was unheard of, and those who abandoned their tribes were branded outcasts. You see, the Viera follow a strict code called the Green World that binds them to their land and prohibits all contact with the outside world unless absolutely necessary. Similar to that of the Mikote Keepers of the Moon, the Viera societal hierarchy is strictly matriarchal. You will find no males. The villages of both the Veena and the Rava, let alone in position of rule. Yet, that does not mean they do not play an important role in Viera society. The males take up the mantle of Warder, protectors of the forest, and serve their tribe by saying no evil encroach on their tribe's sacred domain. Males, for the most part, are reclusive, shunning contact with even their own kin. Save for the rare occasion, they return to their village of birth to sow their seed and to claim any boys who have reached adulthood. But I shall speak of that queer custom at length later. In other words, tread not the wood with hopes of finding male Viera, or you will be met with naught but disappointment, or worse, death. This, however, is not to discredit the martial prowess of female Viera. The women of the wood are as formidable as the men, and merely choose to devote their attention to the protection of their orphan young. Without a supportive community, the males must constantly struggle to survive. Food, clothing, weapons, medicines, all must be procured or crafted by the individual, and without the aid of another. The male lives alone and dies alone. This has gone unchanged for countless generations. I spent many a moon in the desert Sapphire, and while I saw all manner of wondrous creatures, not only did I lay mine eyes upon a male Viera, nor did I hear of one leaving the city. They simply do not exist to us. When you ask the wandering Dramaturge about the physiology of the Viera now, here is what he says. For the Viera, the ends of time move at a far more leisurely pace than they do for the rest of us. Whereas a Ur might consider themselves fortunate to see, say, 80 winters before her return to the last stream, Viera can endure up to 12 score or more. It is estimated that upwards of 8 in 10 Viera are born female. So it is not until at least the 13th named day, when the individual moves from adolescence into adulthood, that the individual's gender becomes apparent. Then, for the next 2 centuries, will the Viera maintain its physical youth, rendering it nigh impossible to discern one's age simply from outward appearance. When it is revealed that a Viera kid is a male, it will be given into the care of another, that it may learn the ways of the wood warder, protectors of the forest. Once every 3 to 5 summers, male Viera will descend from the trees to a nearby village to mate. It is at this time, if there are any recently discovered jacks still living among the females, that the older male will make them his wards and teach them how to survive without the crutch of companionship. Only following countless seasons of training and strict adherence to the green world, will the students themselves earn the title of master and be allowed to seek solitude. More than few will perish during this brutal rite of passage, others sinning the tribe's males until only those with the strongest seed remain. As I explained before, the duty of a male Viera, warder, is to see that their tribe's demands remain untouched by the destructive whims of outsiders. Yet, they do so from the shadows of choosing to shoot first and not even bother with questions. The females, on the other hand, are much more open in their relationship with the wood, though I use the term open in its most loosest of senses. More than simply defend their forest, they seek also to nurture it, clearing undergrowth, removing fallen trees, planting seeds, eradicating vermin. Efforts by past kings to bring Viera lands under Damascan rule have been met with either indifference or violence. As of late, Rabanastre has offered the Vieras their self-governance, with the promise that villages will not take up their bows against the throne. When I was younger and far more the fool than I am now, I asked Viera if she did not find her tribe's ways awkward. Was it not within the natural order for males and females of a species to coexist? The woman answered me thus: "The value of coexistence will not be found beneath a long cloth. Long as your kind endured understanding that the distance twixt two bodies does not dictate the distance twixt two souls." How to speak about the naming conventions of the Vieras? For the Forenames first. The Rava and Veena Clan share many traditions, naming practices among them. Thus the Viera's forename is not indicative of the clan to which she belongs, rather it is the lifestyle she leads that determines whether she bears a forest or city forename. Traditional Viera forenames given at birth are also referred to as forest names, as they are used by those Viera still residing in their own land, which is the Colmore jungle in the case of the Rava, or the forest skirting of the Scatay range for the Veena. Forest names resemble real-world Icelandic names and are pronounced similarly. In the name Teia and Qyorria, for instance, the G sounds more like an English I. In practice, however, one will rarely encounter Viera using her forest name, as those who choose to strike out into the wider world will generally choose new city names to mark their parting from the traditional Viera way of life. These chosen names are often inspired by the city of other races they encounter, or simply things that they like, such as a cherry or morning glory, and so vary widely between individuals. Incidentally, Fran is one of such names. For the surnames, no. The Viera's forest homeland surnames are taken from the name of the village of one's birth. Now I will speak about something a bit different but still related to the Vieras. We don't have much more lore about them anyway. My first guess about the next expansion for the Viera is that we might get a new job where the teacher is a Viera, and it can be the Green Mage. I say that because the Viera were introduced in Final Fantasy Tactics first, before Final Fantasy XII, and in that game series, the Green Mage was exclusive to the Viera, and we don't have Green Mage yet in Final Fantasy XIV, so it can be a thing. For my second guess, we might see more Vieras in the coming expansion, because it will be story-driven against the Empire, and the Vieras are led by Fran, join a group named the Lethe's Tears, and led by a princess, Ashalia. Maybe not the Ashalia we know from Final Fantasy XII, but still, maybe her daughter or something like that. That can be nice to see, like a tribe of Vieras fight along with us against the Empire and invading them, fighting them back. This is only a supposition, we can't be sure about both of this, so that we can see more Vieras and see job led by Vieras, but that would be a good guess. We can even imagine that we might go into a forest where a tribe of Viera is setting a camp, and we have to learn that new job there. I hope you enjoyed that lore video. That's not something I do every day, but I love Vieras. I even the fantasy outdoors at Viera, as you can see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Next video will be about gene making, I think. Stay safe and see you next time.